We learned the Pavlov's dog experiment back in high school, where we applied it to dogs and animals. But there's one small tweak that we can make, where we apply it to ourselves and our actions. And once we do that, there's a big mindset change that can change every decision, every action that you make here on forth. This is about living intentionally, day number 2. And let me start by describing what this experiment is, right? If you haven't learned it, essentially it's this researcher named Ivan Pavlov who has this dog, right? And he realized that every time he put food in front of the dog, he would salivate. And this guy was curious about some crazy things, but one thing he was curious about was, okay, if I ring a bell, can I train the dog to salivate every time I ring the bell instead of give him the food? So what he would do is he would ring the bell and then give him the food for like a month, right? Or maybe even longer. And essentially one day what he did was he ring the bell, but he didn't give the food to the dog. But then the dog salivated anyway because the dog was thinking, oh, he's ringing the bell, time to get the food, right? Because the dog learned, he was like, okay, ring the bell, food, ring the bell, food. So he just started salivating as soon as he heard the bell. And I feel like we do that a lot in our lives. What I'm saying is that there's not clear bells that we do, but there's certain stimulus that as soon as it happens, we think, oh, I'm gonna do this. Okay, as soon as this happens, I'm gonna do this. And it's very like subconscious that we don't have the time to think. And one of those things that I want to touch on is the first thing that a lot of people do when they get up in the morning, which is look at their phone, right? The first thing a lot of people do is they go on Instagram or TikTok and they just scroll for it, right? Just to get the day started. And a lot of that has become the bell, right? The conditioned stimulus has essentially become you waking up and you going, oh, I woke up, and then the conditioned response is, oh, let me go on TikTok, right? Essentially what I'm saying is the shift that I'm trying to make is, do you even know if you want to go on TikTok at the time, right? Is that a decision you're making consciously, or is that a subconscious decision that you're making, like, oh, I woke up, time to go to Instagram, time to go to TikTok? And there's no way that you can figure it out yourself, especially if it's become a habit, right? If you've done it for more than 21 days, it's a habit. So now to figure out, is that conscious or subconscious? There's one thing that you can do, and one thing that I do all the time to break apart habits that I just want to get away from, to break apart conditioned stimuli that I just want to get away from. And how I don't look at my phone first thing in the morning, right? So think about this. You wake up, how long does it take you to jump on Instagram? 5 seconds. Reaching for the phone, 3 seconds, it takes you 8 seconds, bro. Because what? You take the phone, Face ID, scroll to TikTok, open, you're on TikTok. Done. But what if you added friction? And that's the word for this whole video, which is friction. How can I add friction in between that conditioned stimulus and the response so I have time to think? Like, do I really want to go on TikTok? Right? Let's say you put your phone across the room, which is what I did initially. I put my phone across the room and it would take me now another 15 seconds, right? Because I'd have to get up, get my phone, and then get back to bed and then start scrolling. Those 15 seconds are time to think, like, do I really want to get on Instagram? It also breaks apart the cycle of like conditioned stimulus, conditioned response. It breaks apart. It's like, oh wait, I have to do something in the middle because like I woke up, but then I can't just go on TikTok. So that's your word, friction, right? What I do is I don't have TikTok and Instagram on my phone. It's across the room, and I've trained my mind to not do that the first thing in the morning. But the way that I trained it was I put it across the room and deleted it. I blocked it, deleted it, everything. And if I want to get it back, I can't. It is so hard to actually block something on your phone. If I want to open TikTok and Instagram, easy. Give me a minute and a half to do it. But that's a minute and a half where I get to think, like, do I really want to go on Instagram and TikTok? Right? So to tie it all up, it's not just about waking up in the morning. It's so many different things, right? It's about, what do you do the first thing you park your car? Do you sit in your car, scroll for a little bit, or do you get off instantly and do things quickly, right? How long does it take you to go to the gym, right? How long do you procrastinate on doing it? How long do you procrastinate on doing your homework, right? If you break apart the stimulus of why you're getting distracted and these things that you're distracting yourself with, a big thing is every time I feel sad, I turn to coping mechanisms. And for a lot of people, it's like porn, weed, alcohol, TV, social media. But a lot of those are just, the reason why you go on is because you're like, oh, I'm sad, time to go to TikTok. And you can break that apart by just putting friction, right? That's my 2 cents for today. Think about Ivan Pavlov's dog, and how that not just applies to animals, but applies to you as human, and you as a normal human being that is trained by a lot of conditioned stimuli that you can break apart using friction. All right. Thank you for watching. This is day 2 of living intentionally. Hope you liked it. See you tomorrow. Let's make it happen, man.